everyone! Welcome back to my little corner of the internet. So you know those shows and movies you have saved up on your to watch list that you always end up skipping? You want to watch them, but you're kind of not really in the mood for them anytime. But then one day, finally, you decide it's time to watch, and then you get angry. Angry that it took so long for you to finally watch it. Angry because you could have enjoyed it way sooner, and you were just stupid. This is me. I'm the problem. This is me with Call Me Chihiro.
Chihiro-san.
I've had this movie on my list since it came out, but only watched it like a couple of days ago. While watching it, I realized how stupid I was for waiting this long. So yes, Call Me Chihiro stars Kasumi Arimura. You may know her from the last Rurouni Kenshin movies or Billy Gal. She plays Chihiro, a young woman who works in a bento shop in a small town. The movie tells the story of people who interact with Chihiro and how she impacts their lives. I feel like this is the love child of Amélie and Mad Max. What I mean by that, because I know that is a crazy combination, is in the story of Amélie, you have her interfering with people's lives, and in Mad Max you kind of have this main character who's not the main character. Things kind of happen around him. So that's kind of what I mean when I say like a love child between Amélie and Mad Max. You have this whimsical, magical type of story happening, although less stylized than in Amélie. And also in Amélie, she's very clearly the protagonist, the main character. She causes things to happen, but also as a result, things happen to her. While here, it's more of a Mad Max things, like she comes in kind of like a force of nature, shifts things around, and everything else is impacted. So yes, weird combination, I am aware, but that's the only thing I can compare it to in my mind. This is a type of movie that is pretty hard to convince people to watch because technically speaking, nothing happens. There's no grand arc to any character, even Chihiro herself. There's no big lesson to take from it. You just sit and observe these people live their lives. And yet, you can't look away. Not in a train wreck type of can't look away. This movie pulls you in and you get invested in these characters whom you know very little about, and very little gets resolved for them. It's the type of movie that feels like a secret or a whisper, if you will. It's so quiet and uneventful, but feels so precious and special once you watch it. The people Chihiro interacts with come from all walks of life, and each has their own issues they deal with. Chihiro connects with each one and makes their lives feel a little less lonely. There's a strong emphasis in the movie of finding your people, the people you connect with and feel like you truly get each other. They may not be similar to you in the way that you expect them to, but at the end of the day, there's that correct pull that binds you together. It's funny because, like I said, nothing really happens in the movie, but during the last third of it, I found myself crying. Nothing particularly sad was happening, by the way. It just affected me. The whole movie takes place in this small coastal town. The ambiance is very beautiful and unassuming. The cinematography really manages to capture this loneliness and isolation that this town inhibits. It doesn't feel connected to any other place. And on top of that, we get this perfect sound design. There are moments of absolute stillness that are accompanied either by the sound of rain or Chihiro singing to herself that again really emphasize isolation. Finally, I think it's fascinating how we don't really get resolution to many situations that pop up during the movie. I don't think it feels unresolved in a way that a traditional movie would make you feel about these situations. Since the movie just gives us this glimpse, this little peephole really, in order for us to watch these people's lives. We just get this little slice of their lives. We don't get much exposition. We don't get answers. We get these hints that, for example, Chihiro's past is a lot darker than what we are initially led to believe, and that her life had been extremely difficult until now. We get to see some potential domestic abuse situation happening, but it's only these little really tiny nuggets, and overall, since they're not in the here and now, we don't get to have an answer to them. There's no situation in which Chihiro's past in a way comes to haunt her, or confrontation with the enemy or anything like that. It's really what's happening here and now. You can see that in the townspeople situations as well. Things are hinted at or shown that just never get delved into or resolved. And I think we are just supposed to understand or take away from this that everyone has their own issues, but if we are able to find our people, then we can persevere. It's not necessarily find a grand conclusion or a head-on solution, but just be able to live our lives as mediocre or uneventful or even hard that they are sometimes. As long as we have our people, we can persevere. So in conclusion and in summary, Call Me Chihiro is a lovely movie that is worth your time. While not a lot happens on screen, I think a lot will happen within you when you watch it, and that is a wonderful thing. Art is meant to evoke emotions within us. So, have you watched Call Me Chihiro? What is a movie that makes you feel your feelings? Please let me know in the comments below. And if you stayed with me until now, please consider clicking that like button or gently pressing the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. Please check out some of my other videos here, and I'll see you next time. Bye! I thought that as my hair would grow, it will get less and less mullety, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So maybe a haircut is in order.